ain't the plug, I'm connected to the socket. Already paid dues, I'm forever paying homage.
We finally got back to doing it, man. Pause, just in case. Playbook in one stop. You know how long that hiatus was, bro?
What's going on, man?
Me personally, I haven't done a single video since November. Like an actual sit-down video since November. That might be my longest streak since I started the channel.
Back again, man.
So going back to November, so I mean that means we ain't talk about the Luka trade. We ain't talk about Jimmy in Miami. Obviously, we got the Bronny James, LeBron, and Stephen A issue. We got March Madness going right now. Let's start with March Madness real quick because my bracket is looking janky. It's looking real janky right now.
If I had a bracket, it would be looking janky. Most definitely.
So we in a Sweet 16 right now.
Yeah, we don't got that many number one seeds left.
So we got Auburn. Still got Florida. Actually, I think we got all of them.
4 of them.
We got all of them.
Yeah, we got all 4.
We got all of them.
We still got all 4 of them.
Now, who gonna lose first? Because if we look, we got Auburn versus U of M. They hooping. We got Maryland and Florida. I think Florida's gonna win. I think they're just better team. Duke and Arizona. And then who we got? We got Houston and Purdue. I think
Houston and Purdue.
Purdue's still super experienced. Even if they don't have Edie, they very experienced. I like the way they played. I think it was I watched them play against High Point. They were playing against High Point, and I gotta figure out who it was because I was watching the same game. They were playing against High Point. It was an underdog team. Let's see. I don't remember who it was. It was an underdog game though. But the way they responded to drop coverage, in that game, they didn't go out there just, jacking up a bunch of threes. They didn't go out there just thinking, you know what? We're the better team, so we're going to hot dog it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a number 4 going against a number 13. So you're expected to win that game. Methodical, man. Methodical. Pick them boys apart. And one of the things that I talked about was once you get into the lane, do not fool around with it. You get into the lane, you don't need to snake dribble, do all that. Pick and roll, he's in drop coverage. Hit the midi. That's all you got to do. And they picked them boys apart, man. It was they did what they were supposed to do against a worse team. So I like them possibly knocking off Houston. Duke, I got them going to the Final Four. Got Florida going. I think if Michigan State beat Ole Miss and if Auburn beat Michigan, I think Michigan State can get them.
Yeah, I said that. I told someone, I'm like, man, one of the Michigan teams are going to the Final Four.
They got to.
And it's looking like it's going to be Michigan State. Ole Miss is tough, but they hooping. Once again, an experienced program, playing up under a coach like Tom Izzo, super legendary when it comes to the NCAA tournament, very experienced. So if I had to pick out of the two, of course, I'm going to pick Michigan State. But, like you said, Michigan, they've been hooping as well. Bro. Like, Auburn ain't no slouch being a number 1 seed, but Michigan, they've been hooping. And the thing about Michigan is they're a really, really big team.
Yeah. And did you see how fast they moving?
Yeah,
Like they get it
exactly.
out of the basket and it's still a fast break for them.
Hmm.
Like they might be. I don't even think it's a might be. They are the fastest team in the country, I think. And then the
Hmm.
way Carr is coming off the bench, nobody's going to meet him at the rim. Nobody. Dude caught a rebound over 3 people, drop step dunked on somebody. The boy is 6'5". I've never seen somebody get off the ground like him. I mean, maybe I say maybe DJ Stevens. I don't know if you know who that is. One of the bounciest dudes I've ever seen in the history of the NCAA tournament. But he can get off the ground for a dude that's 6'5". How do you feel about when you compare the NBA to the NCAA? Because we talked about the quality of the teams, we talked about the quality of the play. You see a lot of the teams that are 1, 2, 3, and 4 even. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. They're not just going out there winning off talent. They are dominating these teams on both sides of the ball. How do you feel about that comparison? Because when you watch the NBA, I mean, Golden State just lost by 26 to the Miami Heat. Miami just come off a 10-game losing streak. The Grizzlies, even without John Morant, they're losing to the Utah Jazz right now. I mean, why are we losing the teams we should beat? Why are we playing games to where we're playing down to our competition so much? And you look at the NCAA, even, with the NIL, they're talking about it's going to kill, the Cinderella teams and all that. In a way, you're making sure that the teams that are supposed to win are still winning these games. All right. With the NIL, you get more talent, all that stuff. But when you just roll the basketball out and you're simply the better team and you playing harder than everybody else, I mean, what is the comparison you see between the NCAA and the NBA right now?
Man, if I had to, it's really no comparison, to be honest. Like, the NBA don't even really get interesting until, mid April, bro. Like,
Facts.
like, and that's, I'm talking playoff time. Like, a lot of these guys, I feel like it's a certain sense of entitlement that comes with playing in the NBA now. They get paid a lot of money. They're not really held to a certain standard when it comes to what you would call, I guess, attendance or availability. And them, of course, missing games isn't as detrimental as it would be for a college player or even an NFL player.
Yeah.
But like, just keeping the comparison to college basketball, like, college basketball is probably just a little bit more, it's a little bit more, I guess you could say it's a little bit less room for a person to, do stuff like load management, or,
Yeah.
you know coming to the NCAA tournament thinking that you about to take plays off playing defense. Um, I even said the other day, like, the NCAA tournament shows you how important it is, how still important it is in basketball to get to the basket, to have a effective mid range
Yeah.
game, stuff like that. Because the teams that aren't shooting well, they at home. All the teams that, because you can't come into the NCAA tournament relying on your 3-point shot because
Yeah.
everybody playing defense. It
Shout,
ain't guys
shout
ain't
out to
taking
Michigan
plays off.
State.
Yeah,
Shout out to Michigan State. Ain't got
yeah.
no real 3-point game to save their life. Jace Richardson, worst game of
Listen,
the entire season, and he their best player, and they still got
listen,
off.
listen. They got off, bro. I remember at one point in the half when they were playing, when they were just playing, who did they just play? They just played.
I think they
They
was
just
playing
beat.
Bryant. They was playing Bryant. We talked about it
Was
in the
it
group
Bryant?
chat.
It was
Yeah.
Bryant. Okay, yeah. So when they were just playing Bryant, I remember at one point during the game, it was like they were down by like 6, and they
Yep.
went on like a 8-0 run or something like that. And when they put the stat on the screen, it was like they were like 8 for 9 at the basket.
Yeah.
They were like 8 for 9 at the bat. They were only shooting like 40%.
Yep.
But it was because they had came out trying to shoot jump shots, trying to shoot threes, and then they went on like a 8-0 run, and I'm like, damn, they only missed one shot at the basket. Man, you ain't
Yeah.
see them take another three, virtually for the rest of the half. This is first half.
I told you,
It's
I think it
crazy.
was a game against New Mexico. I was like, they playing sluggish. They was down by like 8 or 10 or something like that. I was like, watch, Carr gonna come in the game. They're gonna pick and roll, throw a lob, and they're gonna be right back in the game because
They
like
threw
they play off
two
their
lobs back to
energy.
back.
Yep, they play off their energy and effort. So anytime you can come out, play a game where the only thing I have to worry about is getting stops, and that's what I'm better at than you. Everything else is gonna feed off of that. Everything else, because now they not scoring, and we know you can't stop our pick and roll, and we have the best player on the court. I mean, a lot of things is working in our favor. We just playing hard. One thing I do want to talk about, all right, going from college to the NBA, we talked about, the effort and all that. One thing that bothered me so much about the side-by-side of the NBA and the NCAA is people talking about how the NIL and all this money you paying the kids, it's going to ruin college basketball the way it ruined the NBA. I'm not really seeing that. The only thing I'm really seeing is, like I said, the teams that are supposed to be winning are winning because they have more talent. The talent disparity is there, all right, which in my opinion it should be. If I'm a top 25 team in the country, I shouldn't be losing to a mid-major team that is a 16th seed, that is a 12th seed, 14th, anything like that. I shouldn't be losing to those teams because the product that we're able to put out on the court versus yours. Do you think the NIL, and then we'll talk about this with football too, because Bryce Underwood decommitted from LSU, chose U of M. I mean, I'm assuming because the bag was bigger and he's able to stay home. That's a combination. But do you think NIL is going to kill off, the Cinderella teams in the NCAA?
Nah, if anything, it's gonna make it a little bit better. Cause I mean, look at it like we got Arkansas, a 10th seed, who's there, first year for Calipari, and he's in the Sweet 16. So, not to say that's necessarily a Cinderella story, but at the same time, like, with a first year coach and a program like that at Tennessee, you're not really expecting them to make too much noise. And I think they have like a very strong possibility of making the Elite Eight, maybe even the Final Four in Calipari's first year. So,
Excuse me.
and that's in the NIL era. And then another thing that I just want to like put into perspective is like with the NCAA, especially with the tournament, it's a little bit different than the NBA. Like it's just like you can't. It's nothing you can do to like certain traditions. There's nothing you can do to diminish certain traditions. Like so, whether these kids are going to be getting paid or whether they're making big dollars or they or whatever the case may be, I feel like it's just a certain type of like tradition and a certain type of prestige that surrounds the tournament that's just gonna keep it, it's gonna keep it moving and keep it competitive.
Yeah. Now, it's the perspective of a lot of people that it's going to eliminate Cinderella and all that. Excuse me.
You good, bro?
I'm good. Oh, by the way, still got my Jimmy Butler jersey. Bought another one.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
love.
You came with the Jimmy hair too.
For sure. I took a month off of getting my hair braided, man. Took a month off. I ain't gotta be nowhere important, really. Next important thing I gotta do is probably Easter Sunday. No, not Easter Sunday. No, we got the basketball banquet in about a week or two. I'm gonna get my hair braided for that. Until then, I'm gonna just chill. My thing about the NCAA tournament is the same thing it's always been. Rule number one in any sport: your ranking cannot save you when you step inside those lines.
Exactly.
What you did in the previous game does nothing this game. I lace them up, you lace them up, we roll the basketball out, and we see what it is. That's basketball, football, soccer, baseball, whatever the case may be, any sport. All right. I don't think that stops. But like I said, in the NBA, the problem is talent doesn't meet effort. In the NCAA, when your talent meets effort and you're the more talented team and you're playing on 110 every game, you're going to win. You're going to win. But when you roll the basketball out, all right, and we see who is that? See, 12 beat 5. Let me see, where is that? Colorado State beat Memphis. Me and you talked. I took Memphis to probably go to the Sweet 16. I really liked their squad, and they had one of the best players on the court in the NCAA. 20 points a game, playing great. Number 5 playing versus 12. They rolled the basketball out, and their talent matched. They were able to match talent. Yeah. And they had a great game. And they had a good, scheme and everything like that. Those things can still happen. The problem is you're seeing teams that are playing at a high level, have more talent, and they're getting the job done like they're supposed to, which is the expectation when you're a higher seed. Mm-hmm. So I don't think just this 1 year is going to kill off Cinderella school. I don't think, those type of runs are just completely done. Like you said, you got Arkansas's number 10 going against the number 3 Texas Tech. I think people might put their money on Texas Tech, but you can't count out the fact that you still got Calipari. I mean, that's just the nature of it. You got a great coach. You got a team that plays hard. You always got a chance. I'm dying in here. I ain't got no water. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Now, it's something else that we ain't talked about live. And like I said, we ain't been live in a while. Let's talk about LeBron, Stephen A. Smith, Bronny James.
LeBron is insane, bro.
I just watched Bronny's game. He played the other day. 39 points. I think he had 5 assists, 4 assists or something like that. 7 rebounds, couple steals. Boy had 7 turnovers. How do you feel about LeBron going at Stephen A?
Terrible, bro. I feel him as a dad. I feel him, right? I feel him, but it's the reason why, like, I'm not gonna say I would never do it because he made history. Having an opportunity to play in the league with your son is something that, like, none of us would probably pass up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, just logically speaking, like, you kind of made your son look like a sucker on TV, bro. Like,
that's one thing I hadn't thought about.
Like, you just made it, you just made him like a sucker. Like, and I'm explaining it like this, like, to whereas, like, okay, for a kid that needs that, I understand it. Like, I understand it, like, as a just being a dad, being a great dad, I understand protecting your young and whatever the case may be. But just as a father of an athlete like Bronny James, and just being under the scrutiny of being LeBron James' son, looking at that, it just wasn't a good look, because you always were supposed to put Bronny in a position to let his game speak for itself. Just because he has the last name James, bro. Like, so now not only have you put him at a disadvantage to where people are already talking about him, he's already being scrutinized in the media, like, just off of him being your son.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's under the scrutiny of that his dad kind of came and it's like when you at school and you getting bullied, and instead of you fighting a bully, your parents show up to school, bro.
Yeah.
It's just not a good look. It's not a good look.
So I don't. I think there's a lot of things at play with the LeBron situation. Number one, everybody said this, but let's reiterate it. He put the target on his back. I don't see any difference between what LeBron did when he made that tweet about him being better than some of the cats that's already in the NBA when he hadn't even played a college game yet. He was still in high school. All right. That's problem number one, because I don't see any difference between that and what LeVar Ball was doing with Lonzo. He put the target on Lonzo back. Lonzo came into the league. First game of the year, you dealing with Patrick Beverly. You just kind of poked the bear in that situation. Put the target on his back early. Rough start to his career. The thing I don't like about LeBron approaching Stephen A is because he said the same thing that everybody was saying. I don't think it was anything disrespectful. He said, hey, you got to recognize, you LeBron James. It's a little different versus a random father, hyping up his son and stuff like that. We know what the media tries to do to you. We know what people in comment sections try to do to you. Say about you. Say about your family. And then you putting your son in that situation, opening him up to the criticism, knowing, hey, at this point in time, he's not ready for it. I don't like it from that perspective. But what I will say is this. It's predictable because we know how he feels about his family. We know how strongly he feels about his kids, his wife, and all these other things, right? So it's predictable that he'd want to stick up for his son. It'd probably be, years and years. He not even address things like that, head on, face to face, and confronting somebody, and all of a sudden it's his kid. So now he does. I can see that because it makes sense. He's a dad first before he's a basketball player or anything else. So that makes sense. Last thing I want to say about this is Bronny's playing well in the G League. He came up to the NBA about a week ago, played against Milwaukee Bucks, dropped 17 points. Okay, that's a good game. Granted, they were being blown out by 30 points. All right? Played decent. I don't think that's a sign that Bronny James should go and get minutes going forward on a championship team. I can see if it was a rebuilding year. I can see if there was no real championship aspirations. I can see if the Lakers weren't number 2 in the Western Conference. I can see if there wasn't a potential for LeBron and Luka to get to the playoffs, be healthy, play for a championship, challenge OKC, challenge Denver, be in a spot to win it. All right? I can see that. Because if you think about it, when he was in Cleveland the first time, was they spending, I think, $7 million? Were they spending $7 million on a potential project? When he got to Miami, did they spend any money on any players around $7 million that just had potential going in, 2-3 years down the road? When he went back to Cleveland, was there any of that? No. They got to LA, you had Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram. I think Julius Randle was already out by then. No, Julius Randle was probably in the trade too, I think. But all those young players got traded away because they were in a win now situation because LeBron was on the roster. So we got to chase championships, right? So if that's the case, and all of a sudden, the first time you make an exception for a project is his son, it's going to come with scrutiny. That's just the nature of that beast. Because like I said, Lakers are in a win now. 22 years in the league, still putting up 25, 6-6 or something like that. And you bring in Luka, number 2 in the Western Conference. You're chasing a championship, nothing less. So you use $7 million on a project versus, I don't know, we need veteran help. We need a big. We need X, Y, and Z. Instead of using that money on that, you bring in LeBron's son at the 55th pick and give him a guaranteed contract. I mean, people aren't going to say positive things.
At all. And another thing that I would say about what Stephen A. say, the one thing I would say, like, I don't feel like Stephen A. was like necessarily like I think he meant well with what he said about LeBron. But what I would say is where I kind of give LeBron a little bit of grace. I understand his play is when I heard him say what he said to Justin Jefferson. I mean not Justin Jefferson or Richard Jefferson, I mean. And that's when he was like, when he, you scrutinize him for basketball, you keep it basketball, whatever. But once you start saying stuff like, "Oh, I'm begging, I'm pleading with you as a father," yeah, that's something that it probably would have, it probably would have rubbed me the wrong way too, because it's like I'm not really understanding at that point. Like at that point, it's kind of it's not really as clear. Like, are you critiquing my son as a basketball player, or are you critiquing me as a father? Like which one? Like
I
which
think
one? It's kind of a gray area there when it comes to what you're doing there as a journalist. Like,
I can understand it, but are we going to pick and choose when to respond or who to respond to? Because if you are going to stand on business in that aspect, all right? Because first of all, D Wade sat down with Carmelo Anthony on his show, and he said LeBron saw him earlier.
mm-hmm,
LeBron saw Stephen A earlier, didn't say nothing to him. He waited till the moment came to where, first of all, I think he waited until a situation popped up where he knew camera would be on him, he knew it would be seen, knew it would be public, he knew it was going to be a big deal, whatever. Because after that conversation, he looks up directly at the camera. All right, so that's one thing for me. So I think it was methodical, it was planned out. Don't really have a problem with it because the comments were made publicly, so he did it to where it was a public reaction. All right, cool.
mm-hmm.
But he not gonna check everybody that's been saying that. Like, he not gonna say nothing to Steven Jackson. He not gonna say nothing to Kenyon Martin. Kenyon Martin made the exact same comments that Stephen A made.
Jaylen Brown.
And Kenyon Martin was a lot more aggressive. I'll tell you that. A lot more aggressive. Because he got a son in the league. I mean, he's not LeBron, and he said that. He said, I'm not LeBron James, but I understand my son is a grown man. And even at this stage, he's not ready. So what did they do? They sent Kmart Jr. to the G League. Had to play through the G League. Got called up. All right, you still not ready? Go back down. Got traded 2 or 3 times. Now he's in Utah, getting the opportunity with all the injuries they got. So he said, like, bro, it comes with the territory, but you put the target on his back. So he said everything Stephen A said. So I think it wasn't a situation of I'm going to address this because everybody's saying it, this and that. I'm going to address you because A, you signed a $100 million contract that day. You got the biggest voice in media. And we're in Los Angeles. Everybody is going to see this. So I think it was a combination of several different things. Probably the biggest topic of conversation I want to talk about right now. You see the jersey, and it is in fact a 22 on here. All right, I'm not wearing a Bam Adebayo jersey or Tyler Hero. Miami, they traded Jimmy. A couple months ago before the trade deadline, and since then, I'm pretty sure Golden State's like something like
Take my glasses off for this one.
17-3, 17-4, something like that. Miami, they went on a 10-game losing streak. And I got to say, I'm 50-50 on all of this. I'm 50-50 on it. I put blame on Miami. I put blame on Jimmy. Jimmy's side is, all right, I'm talking about his perspective. He did his job, basically. Got him to the finals. Didn't win a championship. But the performances he put on, he put 56 on the best perimeter defender of his era. 56. Follow that up with another 40-point game. So 96 points in 72 hours on Drew Holiday. Okay? Beats that team. Beat Boston twice. Multiple times. So whenever Jimmy Butler's healthy, Boston has not beat them in a 7-game series. Hasn't happened. He's beat New York. He beat Philly. The 4 best teams in the conference, he beat them. Did his job over a course of 5 years. Did his job, right? They said, hey, we're going to go get a whale. We're going to get like somebody like KD, Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, somebody like that. Put them next to Jimmy Butler, maybe even James Harden. Okay, we're going to get them to the championship. They don't come through and do that. So then he says, all right, you don't pair another superstar next to me. You expect me to carry the weight of this entire team all the way through to a championship. You got to pay me. You got to pay me. 121 over 2 years. I need that extension. If that's the expectation and you're not going to get nobody else, you don't want to get rid of Tyler Hero, you don't want to get rid of Bam, I need to be paid like this. That's understandable. All right. That's problem that any superstar is going to have. Any superstar is going to say the same thing. My issue with Jimmy is there's situations throughout the course of a season, and you know this, just by using FanDuel. I know for a fact that you don't really watch Miami like that, like I do, just from using FanDuel. Jimmy Butler, his line is probably at what, 20.5 or something like that almost every game. He's not going to get that. Not because the defense is stopping him. Not because he's having a bad shooting night. Not because he really gets injured during the course of a game and all of a sudden he'll just, Jimmy will just pass the ball around and just stand in the corner. Nobody's asking him to do this. He'll wave off Duncan Robinson and be like, nah, you got it. You take it. You go. Bam, you got it. Tyler, you got it. So you'll see that especially in primetime games. Like Jimmy will just not shoot the ball at all. All right. So you can't say on one hand, I need to be paid like Kevin Durant, like Steph Curry, like LeBron, who are in their late 30s and still performing at a MVP level, right? You can't want to be paid like that, and you only play 50 games a year. When you are playing, you're only going to average maybe 17, 5-5, 20, 5-5, and all of a sudden you get to the playoffs and you're the best player in the league. Like, how does that even make sense to where we know for a fact that whenever you decide to, you could easily carry us to a championship, and you did it twice where you got us to the NBA Finals, carried us all the way, and you consistently make the decision to not hoop sometimes. That's a 50-50. So like I said, I understand both sides, but I really do hope, and his comments tonight, he said before the game, they asked him about, hey, what if you see Pat Riley? He said, I ain't got nothing to say to Pat Riley, and Pat Riley better not have nothing to say to me. I want to see Jimmy's jersey retired. I want to see Jimmy potentially with a statue or something like that outside the arena. I want to see him, get the respect he deserves because he carried Miami the past 5.5 years. There's no doubt about that. So I ain't got no hate in my heart for Jimmy. I hope he win the championship this year with Golden State. They got a good opportunity to do that coming out the West because the West is wide open. But it's just something about Pat Riley when it comes to paying stars, man. And even bending just a little bit. Didn't with LeBron. Ran D-Wade out of town, but he came back. Ran Shaq out of town. Alonzo Mourning left at one point. And now you're doing the same thing with Jimmy. It's just like, we ain't ever going to keep a superstar for longer than 4 years if his name's not D-Wade.
Yeah, Pat Riley don't gamble much, bro. Like, when I say gamble, I just mean business wise. Like a lot of times, like you see teams that they go out and they take those chances when it comes to themselves. When it comes to they franchise, and then it's some guys that like the Miami Heat, bro. They always been who they are, and they will continue being that.
Yeah.
And Pat Riley he's not really taking those type of risks within his franchise. He's not doing that. You've never really seen him do it.
Yeah.
You never really seen him do it. Like, and even, I'm gonna even look at the Lakers. Like, look at how the Lakers are now versus how they were when they were being, when they were being ran by Jerry Buss. Like Jerry Buss was just taking a little bit more risk. Um, he was doing what something similar to what they're doing now, keeping the superstar in play, but at the same time, like he was trying to win championships
Hmm.
too. He was trying to build championship rosters,
Yeah.
and with that, it come with a certain amount of risk taking.
I got a question for you. What do you describe? And I'm saying this because it came up in the conversation. Jimmy made some comments recently. What do you think about when you hear the term heat culture?
When I think about heat culture,
Hmm.
um, I don't know. I don't know. I think about I think about like more of a, except for like maybe the LeBron era, and this is because D Wade kind of did that. But with the exception of the LeBron era, I kind of think of like more of like a team a team oriented culture, more so than like, we're kind of riding the wave or the coattails of a superstar. with
I
with
th-
the exception of LeBron era, but that, like I said, that's because Flash designed it to be like that.
mm.
Like at first it was still kind of what I said, but then Flash was just like, this LeBron team, this is
Mhm.
his team, and we following him.
Mm. People got this idea that heat culture means, hey, no matter who's on the court, we gonna win and we gonna win championships. It's not it at all. It's
Nah,
not even remotely close because it's actually the point that I made earlier.
right.
No matter what the talent level is, the effort is gonna be there. This is how we go to work every single day. We're going to work with the mindset that we're going to outwork people. Period. You are not going to outwork us. You are not going to fight harder than us. We're going to play physical. We're going to play strong. And when behind closed doors, our focus is basketball first, business
Hmm.
first. They live
Hmm.
in Miami. Granted, Pat Riley has connections in everything that has to do with the city of Miami. There was a conversation Udonis Haslam and Chalmers was talking about, and Chalmers had did something. Him and UD, they got in some trouble or whatever. The next morning, nothing came out about it. Nothing really in the news. And he got a phone call, and Pat Riley told him everything he did the night before. He was like, "How you know that?" He was like, "There's nothing that happens in the city of Miami that I don't know about." So like, you don't hear about them partying a whole lot. You don't hear about them, doing nothing in the streets. You don't hear about them getting in the club trouble, anything like that. Basketball first, business first. That's the culture. Now, when you have
Hmm.
talent, like I said, in the NCAA tournament, when your talent and your effort collide, that's when you get those championships. That's when you make those runs to the NBA Finals. You have Jimmy going off for 50 points in a game and willing his team to a championship, willing his team to the NBA Finals. You have LeBron 30, 30-point triple doubles, or D Wade averaging 40 in the finals or something like that. You have Shaq double in the final. You have these type of performances because the superstars are coming in with the mindset that this is what we do. We work, we practice harder than everybody so we can play harder than everybody. And when that talent collides with effort, you get the results that you want. The team that we're seeing right now in Miami doesn't have the talent. And then after you break through the fact that, all right, we're just a better team and we dominate them because we're the better team, then you break their will. That's what happens when you lose Udonis Haslam, you lose Jimmy Butler, and then as much as we made fun of him, you lose Kyle Lowry, and also you lose PJ Tucker. Your four hard-nosed veteran vocal leaders, you lose all that leadership in a span of 12 months. This is what you get. This is what it looked like. So I don't think it's a situation that Miami can't bounce back from. I don't think it's a situation that damages heat culture. I think it's a situation where you understand maybe, just maybe, Mickey Arison, who in fact is the one who nixed the KD trade, who nixed the Tyler Hero for James Harden trade, who nixed the Bradley Beal deal. People don't notice. Mickey Arison said no to all those deals. All those deals that would get Jimmy Butler help. He said no to all of those. If Mickey Arison gets out of the way and says, you know what, let's spend the money. And then also if Pat Riley doesn't say things, I mean, it wasn't exactly shut up and dribble. It was more like, hey, if you're not on the court, shut up. If we don't have situations like that, then Miami can get some championships in the next 5 to 10 years. I say 5 because Bam and Tyler still in the prime of their career.
Yeah,
I think they get back.
Most definitely. Got to take some risks though.
We need KD.
Got to take some risks, whether that be in the draft and free agency,
Get KD.
whatever. But I ain't gonna lie. I don't really see a player. I don't see a player coming out in the draft for like another like 10 years. Like, not really. I don't.
A game changer like that.
Nah, I'm talking about Like,
is there anybody in the tournament even that you would say?
Nah. Not that's about to come to the NBA and lead a team to a championship, or even really aid a team to a championship for real, bro.
Yeah,
I think that era of college players like coming into the NBA like that is like kind of, it ain't over, but you just not gonna see it. You're not gonna see it like every 3, 4, 5 years like you used to see it. Like it's gonna be like every.
It's
every
only
decade.
one.
Like
it's only
like
one
once every decade.
It's only one, and Miami winning their last 2 games probably might have ruined those chances. But Cooper Flag.
Yeah, Cooper Flag is nice.
Cooper Flag is like that. Did you hear about what he did to Team USA?
Nah.
They said that they were beating the select team handedly. They were beating them handedly. And out of nowhere, Cooper Flag took over the game. And he was cooking Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo. Like, I think he had, late in that game, I think he had 15 by himself. Just in the fourth quarter alone, he had about 15. Going against 2 of the best big man defenders in the world.
Yeah, Cooper Flag is nice. I like Cooper Flag. I'm just like, I'm always biased to Duke players because Duke my favorite college team. So
I like Kansas. So Kansas is always, they always disappoint. I don't even know why I said that out loud. Yeah, but I think Cooper the only one this year. I think he the only one this year. Who are the worst teams in the league? All right, so right now the Wizards, the Hornets, they're at the bottom. And the Jazz and the Pelicans.
Yeah, bro. You ain't.
I think if he goes to somebody like,
none of them teams that you even named is even going with it. They not even gonna win the championship. They not even gonna do nothing to even try to win a championship in the next 10 years.
Nah,
like,
but
that like
the Hornets though. I don't know. That's intriguing.
The Hornets, they gonna have the talent, so they kind of like OKC, but OKC was like,
that's a great comparison.
You know what I'm saying? Like talent wise, they like OKC.
They don't have a coach
outside of that. Yeah, they don't have a coach. They don't have a culture. They don't have nothing else but the talent.
They gonna have Bridges, Brandon Miller, Melo Ball. They could get Cooper Flag, and they got a 5. They got I think Mark Williams is his name. So they would have a solid starting 5. Josh Green plays hard. He's probably coming off the bench. Trey Mann's decent. Nick Smith Jr. He been playing ball pretty well. He frequent on my tickets for FanDuel. Yeah, they got a nice young team. But like I said, they don't got a coach. So until they get a coach, them getting Cooper Flag is gonna be useless. Sleeper team in that mix is Philly. Cooper Flag next to Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. That might look nice for 40 games a year.
We'll talk about that next time.
You know what nobody wants to talk about though? What if Cooper Flag gets drafted by the Spurs?
Now you talking.
Cooper Flag in San Antonio, Stephen Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, Sochan, Kelton Johnson. That's scary. That's scary. And if Pop comes back healthy and he's able to be himself and coach like he can, that's a scary outlook. That's something nobody wants to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Miami, they won tonight 112-86. See the Knicks 128-113. Rockets 121-114. Pistons, they looking good going to the playoffs. We might have a Pistons playoff game. We're gonna have to go to that.
Mm-hmm.
If they able to get home court advantage at some miracle, we gotta go. Let's see what the standings are right now. All right, so right now they're 2 games behind Indiana for the 4th seed. I think they can catch them because let me see. They can beat the Cavs, I think. They can beat the Timberwolves. They got the Raptors, Grizzlies, Kings, and the Bucks twice. Bucks aren't healthy. In comparison to Indiana, Indiana has the Lakers, the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Cavs twice, and the Orlando Magic. I think it's about even as far as strength of schedule going down the stretch. So we'll see. Detroit might have home court advantage though. That'd be dope. First time that's happened in years. I don't think that's happened since 2008. Pretty sure that hasn't happened since 2008. Yeah, but we'll get back into the swing of things, man. Like I said, we ain't did this since November.
Mm-hmm.
November, that's tough. Then we gotta I'll probably say next stream. You want to stream in a couple days?
March
Madness stream.
Let's do it.
All right, what's today? Tuesday.
Today Tuesday, but we have to play it by ear cause practice.
Arizona versus Duke play at 9:39 on Thursday.
We talking about practice?
You want to stream during the Duke game?
Yeah. Shit, if I'm home, we can do it. I gotta make sure I'm here.
All right, bet. All right, man. Appreciate you, bro. You have a good one.